We're going to tie a PFD Rusty Spinner, PFD standing for Personal Flotation Device. Actually, it certainly does help the fly float, but its more important function is to enable you to see the thing. Of course, because spinners are very flat to the surface, and the rusty color isn't that easy to see unless the water is very flat. Pinch the barb. That should do it. Okay. We're using rusty brown here.
You're not seeing the argument, are you? So you look in the library too. I have no idea where these books are in the store, but
you want to cover the hook. The hook is slippery, but actually this particular type of thread is also slippery, so you have to hold things fairly tightly as you're doing this, because otherwise it wants to wind around and do its own thing. Actually, the tails on a rusty either have 2 or 3 fibers, but I tend to use a couple more. I think it helps the flotation when you dress them. And one thing, trout really don't count very well. I mean, they don't seem to mind that at all. You know, a lot of Catskill type flies have a pretty heavy tail, and obviously that's no relationship to what the natural insect has. Well, I want to do something first here. Put that there. I need to get some thread so I can split the tails. That's what this is. Okay. I think it's going to be easier to cut that again than to try to do it. I should have made that loop earlier before I separated these. These microfibets make very nice tails, but they're a little bit of a pain to work with because they're so small. They have as you tighten down on them, they want to swing around on the other side of the hook, so you got to keep pulling them back until you get that fairly tight. There, that's pretty good. Now, let's see. Let's see where we are. This section the tails have to be the farthest thing back in order for the loop to split them properly. So right now, they're not the farthest. By that I mean the thread underneath cannot be out further than the tails, which it is at the moment. So I got to come in here a little bit.
I'll be right there.
Okay. Now we'll go back. Turn down a little bit. Okay. Now you've got to, this is a kind of a nuisance part. You have to split these guys. Yeah. No. I'm going to have to go a little further down, I see.
So the height is down a little. Get down. Almost the kid is great.
There. You got to hold on to this tight, otherwise it tends to relax and then it'll close the tail fibers. Yeah, it should be good. Okay. Now you have to build up the body. The body is made of thread, so you got to keep spinning the thread to shape a body. That's a pretty good thorax there, I think. Okay. Now you have to attach your PFD here. Go back up in here. So what you want to do is make kind of a saddle on this foam in which the swing will rest.
What do they say? Young grown, old grown. The old wise grown knows what that is.
That's a little too much.
They are smart. I thought, you know, one of those things in the Discovery Channel. I forget, it wasn't a drone, it was a bird. These nuts off the street, nuts are incredibly hard. But they fly over through the road. Yeah.
You lay that in that saddle and come around, okay, and make them even, a little more even. Come around again. And again. always like to put a few on this side too. Okay. Let's see. Yep. And then you can cut a portion of this piece that sticks up off. You don't need all that. And then fold it over. Bring your thread forward a little bit. Stretch it. If it looks a little, whoop, broke off, but that's all right, I got it on there. I was going to say you can stretch it a little bit. I stretched it a little more than I should, but fortunately it didn't let go. Look it underneath. Yep. This is sticking out a little bit. I'm just going to push him in there. And this. And then whip finish it. Give it 4 or 5 turns, and you can lacquer that if you'd like. Frankly, I don't usually use lacquer anyway. But now, I want to get the wings proper length. Pull this up, comb it. And it looks about right.